The sky above the mining colony turned red, without warning. What was once a quiet human settlement on planet Voltrian, 6 became a battlefield within minutes. Alarms blared. Ships exploded overhead. The ground quaked under the shock of unknown weapons. No one knew who was attacking or why. Only one thing was clear. This wasn't a random raid. Aaron Weller, an off-duty engineer, sprinted across the yard toward the communications outpost. He wasn't a soldier, but the look in his eyes was pure survival. He dodged a falling beam and leapt over a crater formed seconds ago by something he couldn't name. The colony was burning, and the enemy had not even landed yet. Inside the command hub, the officers were screaming. Radar showed dozens of incoming vessels. Not pirates, not raiders. Something bigger, something ancient. A voice from the intercom confirmed it. Unknown fleet, unmatched energy signatures. Prepare for breach. Aaron froze. He had read about the Xiverian Empire in archive files, but they were supposed to be extinct. The Xiverians didn't use drones or machines. They used warriors, living weapons, genetically perfected beings designed for conquest. And now they were here. One of the officers barked orders, sending troops to evacuation zones. But Aaron didn't move. His eyes were fixed on the screen. One ship, larger than the rest, was descending fast, aiming straight for the mining crater. Something exploded outside the facility, throwing everyone off their feet. Aaron hit the wall hard and blacked out for a few seconds. When he woke, the control room was filled with smoke. Lights flickered. He could hear nothing but his heartbeat and the groan of metal under pressure. But then through the window, he saw her ship crash into the valley. It wasn't a regular crash. The massive Xiverian warship seemed to melt into the mountain edge. No fire, no sound, just a sudden glow and silence, as if the mountain itself swallowed it. Aaron knew no one would go near it. The colony was under siege. But something pulled at him, a strange gut feeling. He grabbed a rebreather, a torch, and left the facility. The valley was quiet despite the chaos around it. Aaron moved fast, hiding between rocks, staying low. He had no idea what he was doing. But when he reached the wreck, his breath caught. The ship was beautiful and terrifying. Dark metal with organic curves, almost like it was alive. One side had burst open. Inside was darkness. He climbed in slowly. No signs of life, just glowing symbols and dark corridors that pulsed like veins. His flashlight caught movement, a flicker, a shadow. Then he saw her. Slumped in what looked like a throne was a figure, humanoid, blue-skinned, wearing black armor lined with blades and silver etchings. Her eyes were closed. She wasn't dead. Aaron stepped closer. She had braids of silver hair, and her face was perfectly still. But something about her didn't feel lifeless. She was powerful, even asleep. Her armor was alien, but elegant. He didn't know what came over him. He leaned closer. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe madness. Maybe the need to understand what they were up against. His hand hovered over her cheek. The skin shimmered like moonlight, still warm. A hum vibrated in the air. Something ancient. Something watching. Without fully knowing why, Aaron gently touched her face and then kissed her lips. It was soft, brief, stupid. But the moment it happened, the ship trembled and her fingers twitched. Her eyes flew open, glowing like fire through ice. Her chest rose. Her blades moved. Aaron staggered back, heart pounding. The alien woman looked at him, not with confusion, but recognition. Her breathing changed. Her muscles tightened. And then she spoke, not in words, but through his mind, a voice that chilled his soul and burned his blood. You have awoken me. That means one of two things, mating or death. Her voice was calm, but her hands moved her weapons. Aaron raised his hands, panicked. He had just made the worst mistake of his life, or something that would change the fate of both their worlds. Aaron didn't move as the alien warrior slowly rose from her throne. Her body armor creaked softly, the sharp blades along her sides shifting like wings made of steel. She didn't blink. Her glowing eyes remained fixed on him. There was no sign of confusion or fear, only sharp, calm calculation. She studied him the way a predator examines a new kind of prey. Her mind reaches again without her lips moving. You are not Xiverian. You are soft. Too warm. What are you? Aaron's mouth opened, but no sound came out. His brain was screaming, but his legs refused to move. I'm human, he finally whispered. She took a step forward. The throne hissed behind her as if alive. Her weapons remained in their slots, but Aaron could feel her power through the air. She tilted her head, then repeated the word slowly. Human. From Earth. She said it as if remembering something ancient. I didn't mean to wake you, Aaron said. I thought you were hurt. Or dead. She stopped a foot away from him. Her blue skin shimmered under the ship's cold lights. She wasn't breathing heavily. Her body was built for war, but her voice was calm and deep, echoing inside his mind. Your kiss broke the seal, she said. It was placed long ago, for safety. I was not meant to wait without battle, or without bond. Aaron frowned. Her words didn't make full sense. He tried to back away, but her hand shot forward and caught his wrist. Her grip was ice and iron. He didn't fight her. He didn't even think to. She looked into his eyes and something behind her shifted. A memory, a story, maybe a sadness. Do your people still sing to the stars? She asked. Her voice was different now, less like a soldier, more like someone lost. Aaron nodded slowly. We don't sing much anymore. Not like we used to, but we still look up sometimes. Her eyes narrowed. Then your kind still carries spirit. That is rare. My kind lost it long ago. They replaced it with fire and blade. She let go of his arm. He didn't know if he was still in danger. She turned her back and walked deeper into the ship. The floor responded to her steps, lighting the way forward. Aaron stood there, unsure if he should run, follow, or scream. Curiosity pushed him forward before fear could hold him back. The ship was like a cathedral inside. Everything curved with dark beauty. Lights pulsed like veins beneath the walls. Strange markings glowed in the air as she passed. Aaron felt like he was inside a living machine. She led him to a chamber filled with weapons. Racks lined the walls, but many were broken or dusted. She touched one long silver blade, and it came to life. Blue light rippled across it. I was chosen for the last war, she said. My people built ships not to carry life, but to destroy it. I was sealed away when we lost. They feared what I would do if left awake, without purpose. Aaron stepped beside her. So why now? Why wake now? She looked at him, her expression unreadable. Because something in your blood answered the seal. Something old. Something forgotten. He swallowed hard, tried to understand. You mean, humans have something your kind lost? She didn't answer. She just turned and touched his chest. His heart raced. Her hand was cold but not painful. You're not a warrior, but you have fire, and you kiss me with no knowledge of the cost. That makes you either a fool or someone worthy of an ancient bond. Aaron didn't know what to say. She leaned in closer. If I accept you, I must protect you. If I reject you, I must kill you. This is our way. Her voice was low now. So speak. Do you choose the path of bond? Aaron's breath caught. Her eyes glowed brighter. Around them, the ship pulsed faster, responding to her rising energy. He looked into her face. Beautiful, strange, terrifying, and something in him whispered yes before he even spoke the word. Aaron didn't answer right away. The silence between them felt heavy. He tried to think clearly, but everything in his body buzzed with adrenaline. The ship, the woman, the words. None of it made sense in a way he had been taught things should make sense. The alien warrior stepped back slightly, giving him space. Her face was calm but alert. She was ready for any answer. Her blades were still in their sheaths, but her posture showed she could draw them faster than he could blink. Aaron realized this wasn't just a question. It was a test. I don't know what bond means for your kind, Aaron said carefully, but I didn't come here to fight. I came because I thought you needed help. Her eyes narrowed again. You speak of help, but your touch was not meant to heal. It broke the seal. That cannot be undone. She walked slowly to a curved console. Her fingers brushed it, and holographic symbols floated in the air. She seemed to be reading them. Aaron stayed still, unsure what she was doing. Then she turned toward him again, her voice sharp now. Your kiss was not harmless. It was a call, one my blood cannot ignore. Aaron felt the air grow warmer. The lights inside the ship shifted, reacting to her rising energy. So what happens if I say no? He asked. Her head tilted, almost like she was amused. Then the bond remains incomplete, and I return to slumber. But my instincts will turn violent. The hunger will twist me. Your refusal will trigger war. He didn't understand how something so strange and intimate could affect an entire war machine. But deep inside, he believed her. She wasn't lying. She had no reason to. Her voice was steady. Her eyes held no pity. This wasn't romance. This was survival and ancient rules. She took a breath and looked away, as if remembering something painful. There was a time when the bond was sacred. Two souls would merge, share purpose, strength, clarity. But over centuries, the Xiverian used it as a tool. They bred power, not love. They lost everything. So I was sealed. Aaron stepped forward slightly. He didn't want to anger her, but he needed to understand. If your people are gone and you're the last, why does the bond still matter? Her eyes met his again. Because I am not just a person. I am the war heart of a ship. If I fall, the vessel dies. If I awaken incomplete, it will destroy without control. He looked around at the curved walls, glowing with alien life. The ship wasn't just a machine. It was part of her, maybe even alive because of her. If she was unstable, the ship could become a weapon no one could stop. Aaron finally realized he wasn't just choosing for himself. I'll do it, he said quietly. Not because I understand everything, but because I think I'm the only one here who can help you stay in control. Her expression didn't change, but the energy in the room shifted. The walls brightened. The hum turned softer. She nodded once. She raised one hand and placed it on his chest again. But this time, her fingers spread over his heart. Her eyes closed. He felt a pressure in his mind. Not pain, not words, but images, memories, battles in space, honor rituals, a deep sadness, and a storm of colors that made his breath shake. When she opened her eyes again, they glowed deeper than before. The bond is now formed, but it is fragile. You are not trained. You are not strong, but your spirit is wild. That may be enough. Aaron stepped back, dizzy from what he had seen. He barely stayed on his feet. Outside the ship, the ground shook again. Distant explosions echoed across the valley. The Xiverian ship pulsed in response. Her voice lowered. They are coming. Not my kind. Not yours. But something worse. The ancient ones who wake when balance breaks. Your world is not ready. Aaron looked at her, still catching his breath. Then we protect it. Together. The earth above the ship cracked as more vibrations rolled through the valley. Aaron and the alien warrior stood together in silence, both listening to the distant sounds of war drawing near. Neither spoke, but they understood one thing. Whatever was coming wasn't random. She turned to a wall of the chamber and pressed her palm flat against it. A rippling light passed over the metal, and a panel opened with a soft hiss. Inside were 3 spherical devices, each pulsing with an eerie green glow. Signal dampeners, she said. Without them, our bond is traceable by those who hunt us. Aaron took one and examined it. It felt warm and strangely light. Why would anyone hunt you? He asked. She didn't respond immediately. Instead, she activated one of the spheres and tossed it toward the open hatch. It floated midair and expanded into a glowing barrier. Because I carry what they fear. He looked at her, puzzled. Fear! She turned to face him again. The last complete Xiverian warheart. My power was sealed so no empire could use me again. But now I'm awake, and you are bonded to me. That makes you a threat to every faction still playing with fire in this galaxy. Aaron swallowed hard. He hadn't expected any of this. Just hours ago, he was a miner with a broken comms tower and a ration shortage. Now he was bonded to an alien warrior, queen with enemies across the stars. What if I wanted to undo the bond? He asked cautiously. She looked at him without blinking. There is no undoing, she said. Only completion. Or death. The cold certainty in her voice made his stomach twist. He wasn't ready for this. But somehow, part of him also felt alive in a way he never had before. Like some fire had been lit that couldn't be put out. Outside, the first drone crept into view above the ridge. It was large, black, and insect-like, scanning the area with red beams of light. Erin ducked, but she didn't move. Instead, she raised her hand and closed her eyes. A moment later, the drone froze midair and shattered into dust without a sound. Erin stared. How did you do that? She exhaled slowly. Our bond let me use your pulse. Your fear gave me the signal. The ship translated it into force. That is the power of the war heart, but it drains quickly without trust. He looked at her, more confused than before. So you need me to trust you or you can't fight? She nodded once. Exactly. If your mind resists me, the bond weakens. If the bond weakens, I fall. If I fall, the ship dies, and everything nearby dies with it. Erin stood straighter. Then tell me how to help. Her expression softened for a moment. Stay near. Keep your thoughts steady. Do not fear me, and do not doubt your value. The bond amplifies what you feel. If you panic, I burn. If you focus, I strike. More drones approached from the sky, a black swarm rising like a storm. The warrior moved forward and took a weapon from the wall, a long staff with a blade at each end. It lit up with energy the moment her hand touched it. Stay behind me. Let the ship channel through you. Erin nodded and stepped closer. As soon as his hand brushed the side of the wall, he felt it, a low vibration in his bones. The living metal responded to his presence. The lights brightened. The warrior's armor gleamed. Their link was real. And now, it had awakened something ancient inside the ship. Outside, the attackers began to descend in numbers. But the moment they crossed a barrier, the Xiverian ship pulsed. One beam of blue light shot into the sky, and the first wave of enemies turned to ash before touching ground. Erin turned to her and whispered with awe, "We're not just surviving this, are we?" She glanced sideways with calm fire in her voice and answered, "We're starting a war." Erin's heart pounded as light from the ship cut through the incoming swarm. The beam didn't explode or burn. It simply erased whatever it touched. Machines turned to dust. Metal vanished in the wind. It was terrifying yet beautiful. Power beyond anything humans had known moved through the air like a storm held on a leash. The warrior stood still, her weapon lowered but glowing. Her eyes didn't blink. She watched the sky with the silence of a queen judging invaders from a throne. She wasn't just ready to fight. She was choosing who deserved to be crushed first. More drones swarmed overhead, now moving with more speed and cunning. These weren't just machines. They were guided by something, perhaps something that understood who she was. Erin could feel the pressure behind his eyes. His thoughts were no longer private. The ship was listening. The bond was deepening. She turned her head slightly. You must not break focus. Your fear pulls energy away from the core. Let the fear pass through you. Hold to me. Erin nodded quickly. He forced himself to breathe slow. His hands trembled, but he tried to picture her standing tall, calm, and ready. The ship responded. Pulses of light moved along the walls, matching the rhythm of his breath. He felt warmth inside his chest. The hum grew louder, but steadier. It wasn't chaotic. It was alive, and it was listening to both of them now. The alien warrior raised her staff. With a flick of her wrist, a circle of energy formed around the crash site. It rose like a transparent dome, pulsing with runes that shifted in pattern. This will hold, she said, but only for a short time. They are testing our strength before they send more. Erin stepped closer to her. Who are they? He asked. I thought your enemies were long gone. She shook her head. These are not Xiverian. These are shadows, scavengers of ancient wars. They steal broken weapons and forgotten powers. If they capture me, they'll tear me apart to learn my secrets. He stared at her. And what about me? Her eyes flicked to his. They'll destroy you first. Not out of hate, just efficiency. You are the lock. I am the prize. Without you, the bond fails. She paused and added, You are not useless. You are the key. Aaron forced a half smile. That's not the most comforting thing I've ever heard. Her lips curved slightly, almost like a smile, but it vanished too quickly to be sure. Comfort is not my purpose. Survival is. Victory is. And now you are part of that purpose. The ship's hum changed suddenly. A deeper tone, slower and heavier. The warrior turned sharply toward the wall. They've sent a beacon. A signal too strong for the barrier. They're calling for something older. Something worse than drones. She reached out and pressed her hand against Aaron's chest again. You will feel pain, she warned. But do not pull away. I must transfer a part of the ship's memory into your mind. It will help you see through the chaos. You must understand what we face. Before he could reply, a jolt ran through him. Not electric, not physical, but real. Images burst behind his eyes. A field of stars filled with fire. Ancient vessels splitting planets apart. Voices screaming without sound. And one great beast, larger than moons, chained between galaxies. Its eye opened. It looked straight at him. He gasped and fell to one knee. She caught him before he hit the floor. Her grip was strong, but her eyes were softer now. You saw it. The Leviathan. It is what the scavengers serve. It sleeps for now, but if awakened, no world survives. Aaron nodded weakly, his body shaking. I saw too much, he whispered. How can I fight something like that? She helped him stand. You don't fight it. We prevent it from rising. That is why our bond matters. Together, we are a weapon it fears. Outside, the sky darkened. The true enemy had heard the call. Aaron looked toward the horizon and stood taller than before. Then let it hear us roar. The sky above them burned with new colors. Not fire, not light, something older, something from deep space, where suns died and never came back. The ship vibrated in warning. The dome around them flickered. The scavengers had triggered something they did not understand. Aaron stood beside her, fists clenched, trying to control his breath. The images in his head still lingered. The Leviathan, the Galaxy Eater, the enemy behind all shadows. He felt it move across space like a distant thunder waiting to strike. The warrior watched him, her voice quiet but firm. Your mind did not collapse. That means you are stronger than most. It also means we may survive the coming storm, but only if we strike first. She moved toward the command node and activated a deeper core. The floor of the ship opened and revealed a glowing pit of shifting plasma. Aaron stepped closer and stared into the light. What is that? He asked. It looks alive. She nodded. It is the ship's heart. And now it must bond with yours. He frowned. Wait, we already bonded, didn't we? Her gaze turned serious. No, that was the surface. This will be the core, the final step. She held out her hand. If you take this path, there is no return. You will never be as you were, but you will be more than what you are. He didn't hesitate. He reached out and took her hand. Instantly, the light from the pit surged upward and surrounded them both. Pain hit him first, a burning deep in the spine, then pressure, then the sensation of his body folding into light. But through it all, her grip remained steady. He could hear her thoughts clearly now. Memories, battles, love, betrayal, silence. He saw her pain as if it was his own. When it ended, he collapsed on the floor, gasping. His skin glowed faintly. His vision swam with layers he'd never seen before. He could feel the ship as if it was part of him. He looked at her and knew her name without asking. Kivra, he said. Her eyes widened for a moment, then softened. Yes, she said. That name was mine. Before they sealed me. You remember it now, because the ship remembers. And the ship remembers through you. Aaron stood up slowly. His muscles ached, but his spirit felt sharper, clearer, stronger. Then what now? He asked. Kivra looked at the horizon where the sky bent unnaturally. They have opened a gate. The Leviathan's cult feeds it energy. If we let it stay open, the creature will awaken. Not fully, but enough to destroy your planet. Aaron nodded. So we close it. Together, she placed both hands on his shoulders. No, only you can enter. The gate is woven with human energy. Only a bonded human can pass through without dying. I will hold the field. You must go into the storm and find the pulse beacon. Destroy it. Aaron felt the fear rise in his throat, but he didn't let it speak. He had seen the void. He had felt the Leviathan's shadow. This was the cost of the kiss. This was the path he chose. He nodded once and turned toward the exit. As he stepped out, the wind whipped his clothes and the heat of the broken sky burned against his skin. He didn't flinch. The gate loomed ahead like a wound in space. Black and red swirled where air should be. He kept walking, step after step, into the unknown. Behind him, Kivra raised her weapon and summoned the full power of the ship. A protective shield formed around him, glowing bright enough to blind the enemy watchers. Her voice whispered in his mind as he reached the edge of the gate. You are more than human now. You are the war's answer. Aaron stepped into the gate, and the world shifted instantly. There was no ground, no sky, only swirling colors and shapes that bent around him. His body felt both light and heavy. Time stretched like rubber. Voices whispered nearby, but he couldn't understand them. Each step felt like walking through thick fog made of heat and memory. He focused on Kivra's voice, holding on to it like a rope in a storm. Her words didn't come as sound, but as thought. Follow the pain. That is where the beacon feeds. He nodded, his breath tight in his chest. Shapes moved in the mist. Not solid, not real, but watching. Aaron kept walking. His skin burned. His bones hummed. The bond inside him pulled forward like a magnet. He trusted it. He had no choice. This place wasn't made for flesh. It was built for fear. The beacon appeared suddenly, pulsing with red light. It floated above a cracked black pillar, surrounded by dark tendrils. Each pulse sent a wave of nausea through his body. This was it, the source. If it kept feeding the gate, the Leviathan would find his way into real space. He approached slowly, his hands clenched. The tendrils moved, sensing him. They hissed and shifted like snakes made of shadow. He stopped just short of them. Kivra, what do I do? Her voice answered with sharp clarity. Touch it. Feed the bond into it. You carry the ship's core. Let it flood through your veins. Aaron reached forward. The tendrils struck. Pain flashed in his limbs, but he didn't pull away. His fingers brushed the beacon's surface. A jolt surged through his body. He screamed but didn't fall. Instead, energy erupted from his chest, a bright wave of blue and white. The shadows recoiled. The tendrils withered. The beacon cracked. He kept pushing. His thoughts poured into the light. He focused on Kivra's face. Her voice. Her strength. He imagined Earth skies. His parents' old radio. The sound of wind. The taste of water. The warmth of fire. The beacon shattered with a sharp cry that didn't come from his mouth. The gate behind him collapsed inward like a star folding on itself. The storm died. The whispers vanished. The light faded. Aaron dropped to his knees, breathing hard. The world around him calmed into stillness. Then he heard footsteps. Not Kivra. Something else. Something wrong. He turned and saw a figure emerging from the mist. Tall, thin, eyes like holes into space. Its body was covered in symbols that bled light. It was not alive in any way he understood. You broke the pulse, it said in a voice that echoed from all directions. You are bonded to the sealed one. That was not meant to happen. Aaron stood slowly, sweat running down his face. Then maybe your plan wasn't as perfect as you thought. The figure tilted its head. You cannot hold her forever. She will turn. All war hearts do. You will fear her, and that fear will unmake your bond. Aaron didn't blink. I don't fear her. I believe in her. The creature's body rippled. Then you're the greater threat. It raised one arm, and black energy formed its hand. But before it could strike, a beam of light tore through the fog. Kivra's spear shot through the air and pierced the creature's chest. It didn't scream. It just vanished like dust in sunlight. Kivra appeared beside him, breathing heavily. I felt your pain. You did it. The beacon is gone. Aaron looked at her and smiled weakly. Wasn't easy, but I'm still standing. She touched his face gently. You carry my fire now, and you didn't break. The mist faded. The air cleared. The valley returned. They stood in silence, side by side, watching the last of the storm drift away in blue light. Kivra turned to him and said only one thing. It's not over yet. The sun broke through the gray clouds as the last of the corrupted sky faded. The valley was quiet now. No more drones. No more shadows. The gate was gone. But in that silence, Aaron could feel the weight of what still lingered. Kivra stood beside him, her armor dimming, her weapon resting against her back. She didn't speak. Her eyes were fixed on the horizon. Aaron could feel her thoughts in the back of his mind. Not fear, not victory. Something deeper. Something unfinished. We stopped the awakening, he said. The Leviathan didn't break through. She nodded once. For now. Her voice was low. But its cult remains. And its hunger has tasted our light. They will not stop. Not until the galaxy burns or it feeds again. Aaron looked up at the sky. Then we stopped them. Together. She turned to him, her expression unreadable. Together is a fragile word, but the bond still holds. You gave more than I expected, more than you had to. That changes things. He felt the bond shift slightly, not weaker, but wider, more open. He could sense her pain clearer now. A sorrow that stretched through centuries. A war that never really ended. You've been alone for too long, he said. That's why they sealed you, isn't it? She didn't deny it. They feared what I would become without purpose, she said. They built me for war, then abandoned me when they lost theirs. But you didn't run, even when you should have. He smiled faintly. I'm not smart enough to run, and I don't want to. The ship behind them rumbled, shifting like a creature waking from sleep. Its surface cracked open in several places, revealing a smooth interior chamber that pulsed with light. Kivra looked at it, then at Aaron. The ship is ready to fly again. And now, it answers to you as well. Aaron raised an eyebrow. I don't know how to fly a living warship. She stepped forward, placing her hand on his chest. You don't have to. It listens to the bond. It follows intent. Your will is the key. He looked toward the ship, feeling its heartbeat echo in his own. He walked with her to the ship's core, passing through walls that opened for them like breathing gates. Inside, it was beautiful. Lights floated midair. Symbols glowed with each step. It wasn't just a machine. It was a history, a memory, a legacy waiting to rise. Kivra moved to the central console. We can hunt the cult. We can destroy their shrines before they call to Leviathan again. But I will not force you. You are free to walk away. Aaron looked at her, saw the truth in her eyes. This was not manipulation. It was a choice. He stepped forward without hesitation. I'm already in this. You're not a weapon to me. You're not just a warrior. You're someone who was left behind. And I won't do the same to you. The ship brightened in response. The bond pulsed like a second heartbeat between them. She nodded slowly, then placed her palm to the console. The ship rose from the valley, breaking free from the stone and soil that had buried it for ages. It hovered above the ground like a blade ready to strike. Aaron stood beside her as the sky opened before them. Below, the colony flickered with life again. People came out of hiding, watching the strange ship hover above them. They didn't know what had happened. They didn't know who had saved them. But they would learn. One day, they would understand what began here. Aaron looked at Kivra as the stars came into view. Where to first? She looked ahead, her voice steady. To the oldest shrine. If we break the chain there, the others will fall easier. But the fight will grow harder with each strike. He tightened his grip on the rail. Let them come. I've already kissed death once. And I'm still standing. The ship roared into the sky, faster than sound, brighter than flame. And so began the hunt for the end of fear.